everybody to Real Vision Avant. And this is what day is this, y'all? Day 28. 28 days we've been going live. 28 days you guys been pulling up. 28 days and you guys have been engaging. When I tell you, we're going to start putting out some posts so that everybody can see how you guys have been participating in the event chat. And we're going to share it all over because guess what? The great thing about New Year, New You is that we'll be inviting people to join this conference all year long because guess what? The replays are available. And so even if you miss day 1 through day 28, you still have the opportunity to go back and check out any one of the shows that you missed. And I say show because they are absolutely productions. Man, shout out to all of our speakers. And we still have more. In fact, tomorrow, I'm just going to let you guys know in advance. Tomorrow, we have 2 speakers. Tomorrow, we have 2 speakers that are going to be joining us. And so make sure y'all bring y'all pen and paper. But now it is time to introduce our speaker of the day. We have none other than attorney Sharon Baker Boykin, who is a dynamic legal life coach, attorney, author, and speaker with a mission to help others eliminate legal chaos and find clarity. As the founder of Power of One Decision, LLC, she uses her extensive legal and government background to guide clients from where they are to where they want to be. Sharon's legal career spans roles such as Special Projects Manager for DeKalb County Government, Assistant District Attorney, Probate Court Administrator, and partner in a private law firm, amongst others. Her experience equips her with deep understanding of complex legal matters. A prolific author, Sharon has written 12 books offering practical insights on legal topics. As a sought-after speaker, she has conducted workshops, seminars, and appeared on podcasts, sharing her expertise to empower individuals and organizations. Sharon Baker Boykin is committed to helping others make informed decisions and achieve their goals with confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, Sharon Baker Boykin.
Hello, everyone. My name is attorney Sharon Baker, and I'm a legal life coach, and I'm going to be talking to you today about helping you get your stuff in order with a legacy love letter. Now, you may be asking, what in the world is that, Sharon? Well, a legacy love letter is what I call your estate plan. And it came from, in a sense, a personal story that I had in my life that I want to share with you, as well as why it is important that I work with people, especially business owners, to help them get their legacy love letters in place. So, as I said, I'm an attorney, and in fact, as of June of 2024, I was a licensed attorney in the state of Georgia for 40 years. Now, every time I say that, I get surprised myself by saying it's been 40 plus years now since I've been a licensed attorney here in the state of Georgia. But I've done so many different things in my legal career. I've been in private practice. I've been a prosecutor. I've been a judge. I've worked in state government. And it was just all those different things that I've done over the 40 years. I've learned a lot. And I understand that the reason why a lot of times we get in trouble is because we don't know the rules to play the game to win. So from a personal standpoint, let me share this with you. I'm a daddy's girl. Any other daddy's girls out there? And I'm the oldest of 4 siblings of my parents. But my father passed away the Friday before Father's Day in June of 2018. Yeah. That's been a tough time because when it's connected to a holiday, and every time that holiday rolls around, it just revamps all of those feelings and emotions. But my sister Karen and I were visiting our parents the week before Father's Day. And the last memory I have of my dad being alive was us backing out of the driveway. We're blowing the horn, waving, telling them that we're going to be back next week to go to church with my father for Father's Day at his church. And then to find out that he passed away the Friday that next week, that Friday before Father's Day of 2018. Yeah, it's been tough, but it didn't stop there. Now, we all know Father's Day is in June, but my family suffered a family member passing away not only in June when my dad died, but in July, August, September, October, November, December, January of 2019. Every month from June to January, we had a death in the family. Some family member somewhere in the United States, on my father's side or my mother's side, someone. You know, you get to the point you don't want to answer the phone. Phone ring, you see it's a family member, you don't even want to answer because you're wondering who is it this time. But it didn't stop there. It was my great aunt who died in January of 2019. But 4 months later, in May of 2019, I became the first probate court administrator in DeKalb County, Georgia. Now, probate court is the court that handles situations when people die, either with their plan in place or without. We also issue marriage licenses and gun licenses. But your probate court is the one that handles the affairs of when you pass away, or if you are in a situation where you need a guardian or a conservator because you have some health issues. So if you can recall now, this is the beginning of the pandemic in 2019. We kind of officially declared the pandemic in 2020, but it was a game changer for the world. People were in the hospital, they were dying, and now, it was just sad. And it was just a bad situation. But again, when I went through all those deaths of my family, I said, God had to be working on me from the inside because some had their plans in place, some did not. And there were some ugly fights that resulted from that among family members. But now, May of 2019, I am now working for the court that handles these situations. So now I get to see what does the state of Georgia have on its books from a legal standpoint, more in depth now that you're working for the court, to see what is going on and what do people need to know, or they think they know, or they assume that they know, but they really don't. Every state has some interesting laws on the books in this particular area of estate planning. And I saw some of the ugliest court battles among family members when someone passed. So I was sharing just again with my family and my sister Karen. She's the baby of the family. It's 4 of us. The 2 boys are in the middle. But Karen was telling me, Sharon, you've started writing books. Why don't you write a book about estate plans and helping people get their plans in place? But her one request of me was, do not use those fancy legal words that you lawyers love to use, that the average person doesn't know what y'all are talking about. And then we don't want to ask any questions because we don't want to appear ignorant or dumb. And we just nod our heads when you're talking using those fancy legal words. But at the end, you didn't help the person because they didn't understand what they needed to know. So I wrote this book called Help Me Get My Stuff in Order. And it's actually a workbook for you to now sit down, look at all the things that you have, and you're making notes in this workbook. This is not the will or the legacy love letter, but you are now doing an inventory of all the things that you have. Is there something special, some jewelry or some clothes or books or whatever that you personally have that you would like to give to a particular person, where you're making notes? So now when it's time to talk to me or any other attorney in this area, you've already in your mind or written down now all the things that you have and what you would like to do with those things when you make your transition. And I know this is not a fun topic that people want to hear about, talk about, think about, because here we are. Every last person who's who's ever been born had a birth date, and we have a date that we're going to transition. And we are living in the dash. We just don't know when that second date is going to occur. You turn your TV on every day, somebody was killed or died the night before. And it's sad. And it's very sad. So we don't know when that second date is going to occur. So don't put it off any longer. Let me give you a couple of names and see if you know what these people have in common. Abraham Lincoln, Tupac Shakur, Prince. These individuals, and there are a whole lot more, they all died without a will or any kind of an estate plan or legacy love letter in place. And the reason why we know that is because there is a process that you have to go through when you pass away without having your plan in place. Your estate has some interesting rules on the books. But you know, there are some myths that people, when I always ask this question, do you have your plan in place, your will or your estate plan or your legacy love letter in place? And I would ask people, if I'm at a meeting or I'm at church or just anywhere, I may strike up a conversation with someone and ask them that question. And when they respond with, that means no. When they do that long, that means no, they do not have something in place. And I encourage them, I would be at a meeting and I would see this mother with her cute little kids. And I said, do you have your plan in place? And she says, no. I said, well, what happens to your kids if something were to happen to you before they became an adult? And then she looked at her mother was with her. She looked at her mother and said, well, my mother would take care of my kids. And guess what? Her mother said, oh no, I've already raised my children. It won't be me. So we assume, and we got to have that conversation. Your most valuable asset, if you are a parent with minor children, or if you have children that have special needs, that will need someone to take care of them. You need to decide if something were to happen to you and that second date comes up and those children are still minors, or they have a need for a special person to take care of them that you trust. Have you put that information in writing with your legacy love letter? And we have other things too. But it's funny because when I ask people that question, I get one of these three answers. Answer number one is, well, if I do a will or my legacy love letter, I'm telling God I'm ready to die. Now, you and I know that is a myth. Whether you have your legacy love letter in place or not, it does not stop that second date that is going to occur for everybody who is now living and breathing. So, having that plan in place does not speed up your date. Having that plan in place does not make that date move to the back or give you more time. No, that second date is coming. We just don't know when it's going to occur. So why not get prepared and not procrastinate anymore and get your legacy love letter done? The second answer I normally get from people when I ask them that question is, well, I don't really have anything to do a legacy love letter. I don't have but a few little things, and it's not worth it. Really? I want you all to do me a favor. Look at what you currently have on right now. What shoes you have on, what clothes, jewelry, if your purse or your wallet is nearby, if it's money in it, or credit cards, or whatever you have, what's in your closet. You have a car, you have a home. If you are in a fraternity or a sorority, you have paraphernalia. You have things that someone would want, and they have their eyes on it right now. So It's not about how much your stuff cost. When I was a younger attorney, as I said, I've been an attorney now for 40 years, but when I was a younger attorney, I had a lady to come and see me. She was 85 years old. She brought me 10 sheets of notebook paper where she wrote out on the front side and back side everything she owned and who she wanted to leave it to. Now, when I say everything, dishes, shoes, pocketbooks, hats, towels, furniture, rugs, everything she owned, she described what color it was, and she described and named the person she wanted it to go to. Now, her comment to me was, please don't laugh at me. I have just been a part of too many ugly fights with family members who've died who did not have their plans in place. And I just don't want to have the same thing to happen to me when it is my time. It wasn't that she was sick or had some kind of doctor's report. She was 85 years old, but her thing was, I just want to get my plan in place before my second date occurs. So she left me those 10 sheets of notebook paper with all of her items notarized listed on this sheet. And when we prepared her will for her to come back to sign, and she came back and she was sitting there, and we had it notarized and got two witnesses to sign. She was so happy when she left the office, the biggest smile on her face. And she said, now I can go and enjoy the rest of my life, knowing that when my time comes, it ain't gonna be no mess because I have identified and listed everything that I have and who I'm leaving it to. So there won't be any fights. You know, to this day, I remember that conversation. I remember that her coming in to see me and her reactions when she left with her notarized documents, leaving the office. If that lady at 85 knew it was time to get her stuff in order, every last one of us who do not have their legacy love letter in place needs to get it done now. So it's not about how much it costs or the value. Somebody wants what you have, and you can't not take it with you when you make your transition. Now, the third response I normally get from people when I ask that question, do you have your estate plan in place, your legacy love letter in place, is it costs too much money. Lawyers charge a lot of money to get those plans and those documents done. I just don't have it. Well, number one, no matter who you go to for help, there is a cost and a fee. But in this regard, it actually costs more when you do not have your plans in place. Remember when I called out a couple of names earlier? Abraham Lincoln, Tupac Shakur, Prince, even, and there are a ton of names that did not have their plans in place when they died. How did I know about those names? Well, when you pass away without having a plan in place, your state is going to have to publish that information in the legal newspaper where you live to alert the world that you have passed away without having a plan in place or no documents in place, no legacy love letter in place. And we're asking, are you an heir or are you a creditor of this person? The person who passed away, did they owe you money? So you have until this date to file your claim against this person's estate. It costs money to run that notice in the newspaper. And in Georgia, it has to run for 4 consecutive weeks. 4 consecutive weeks. So you're looking at a month of us alerting the world that you have passed away without having a plan in place. Are you an heir, meaning do you get a slice of that person's pie? Or did they owe you money that you want to file a claim against their estate? And that costs money. And then the legal fighting when people now are coming to court claiming that they are an heir or that you owe them money when you passed away, or somebody who is even asking to be named the administrator over your estate. All of those items cost money and it takes time. And now you have a hearing before the judge. That takes time. And if you have an attorney who's now going to court for you, that costs money. The fighting costs money because someone may not like the decision of the court. They file an appeal. So it actually costs more money when you pass away without having your legacy love letters in place. And again, I sat in on some of the ugliest fights because if you understand the world we live in, people have been married more than once, or they have children from multiple different relationships. Those children don't all get along. And now because dad has passed away or mom has passed away without putting her legacy or his legacy love letter in place, these kids from these different relationships are coming to the court to get their slice of the pie. And sometimes they have to prove that they are a legal heir. That costs money even to set up a paternity test with the person who passed away, their living relatives. So let's say dad died without having a will. He had 3 children from 3 different relationships, 3 different marriages. And the court may schedule a DNA test with those children and the siblings of the father who passed away, because we need to prove what percentage of connectivity are those heirs to that family. Is it 0 or is it some percentage that says 95% yes, he was the father, they're related because their blood types are all matching. So again, those things cost money and time. And if you are a private person and you don't want people all in your business, if you fail to put your legacy love letter in place, and we have to go the route of going to court and going through all those steps, we're going to find out about it. And people could go online and look at your documents. They can come to the hearing and sit in the courtroom and hear the testimony of those family members claiming to get their slice of the pie or saying, no, he was not your father, or no, she was not your mother. So again, it costs money. Please, please, please. And let me end this with giving you some statistics. When you think about people who pass away without a will, no matter what group you're in, the majority has chosen not to have their estate plan in place. 61% of Caucasian Americans, 67% of Asian English-speaking Asians, 77% of African Americans, and 82% of Hispanics die without an estate plan in place. So no matter which racial group you're in, the majority of that group pass away without having their plan in place. That's a sad thing. We strive to get a house, get a car, have bank accounts, clothes, jewelry, furniture. We have things that someone would love to have. Shouldn't you decide who gets it? And as I said, every state has something interesting on the books, and people assume that they know, but they haven't checked right now while they're still living and breathing. Well, if I don't have my plan in place, what happens to these things? Let me give you this one other example. Now, suppose a husband and a wife buy a house in Georgia, and their names are on the deed to the house and on the mortgage. But the husband has been married a couple of times. He has children. He has children from previous relationships. And so does the wife. She was married before and has children from another relationship. And then the husband and wife currently have a child together. Okay? Neither one of them have a will or any kind of legacy love letter in place. If the husband dies first, who now owns the house? The Jeopardy song is coming in the background while you're all thinking. Because when I ask people that question, especially like I said, I'm at church and I see a couple and I ask them again, do they have their estate plan in place? I said, okay, you all have a house. Do you have your wills in place or legacy love letter? They said, that means no. So now, when I ask the question, if the husband dies first, who now owns the house? And the wife will put her hand on her hip and like, what do you mean, Sharon? My name is on the deed, it's on the mortgage. It's my house. Well, here's where I say every state has something unique on the books. If your deed in Georgia does not state the husband and the wife with rights of survivorship in the deed of that house, then each person only owns 50% of the house. Husband owns 50, the wife owns 50. And the husband dies without a will. Who are the husband's heirs? The wife, if she's a legal spouse, they're legally married, she's one of his heirs, but then does he have any children? And as I stated in that example, he had 3 children from his previous relationships, and he has 1 child with his current wife. So he has 4 children and a legal spouse. So George is getting ready to slice up his 50% of the house among his heirs. His wife will get 1/3 of his 50%, but those other children are going to split the remaining 2/3. The wife still owns her 50% of the house. So how many women or men, because it could have been that the wife died first, they think because their name is on the deed and they're paying the mortgage, that if one of them dies, it's their house. But you must have the right language in your documents that gives you that right. Now, if that language is there, then yes. If it says husband and wife with rights of survivorship, meaning their names, the husband's name, the wife's name, with rights of survivorship, then yes, whichever one dies first, the survivor now owns 100% of the house. But if that little tagline is not there, each person just owns 50% of that house. Now they need to do some cleanup. They need to do their legacy love letters, or we need to do some revisions to those deeds to add that language. But you need to find out, what does your state require? What things are on the books? Don't assume you know. And then after an event occurs, now you're wondering, oh my God, I didn't know that. And when I was working for the court, I heard that statement almost every day. I didn't know Georgia law required that. Well, no matter what state you're in, there's some things on the books that you don't have a clue about. Don't assume that you know. Get some help. Get in contact with me at www.legallifecoachsharonbaker.com. And I'm going to be sending those of you who registered for the New Year, New You conference, and congratulate yourself for being here and to hear all of the speakers throughout the month of January, to hear information that you needed to know to plan your life and have the results that you want to have. But I'm going to be sending out an email to all of you who registered, and I have some special deals for you. I do have the book, Help Me Get My Stuff in Order. Now, if you were to go and order the book, it costs $20, but I'm going to give you a discount. In fact, a 50% discount, because you are here, you registered for the New Year, New You conference, and I want you to start getting your stuff in order. So that's one special thing that I'm going to offer to you as a registrant of this conference. And then we're going to schedule our talk to move forward with getting your legacy love letters done. And what all do you need to put in place? Because everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is unique. You know what you have. You know who you want to leave things to. And my job is just to fulfill your rights, your things that you want to have happen, but do it in a legal way so that when that second date occurs, there's no fighting among your family members because you have put in place in writing, signed, sealed, and delivered what you want to have happen with your stuff. So I look forward to getting with you. Again, be on the lookout for the email from me to those of you who registered for the New Year, New You conference. You're going to be getting that 50% discount on my book, but we're also going to be scheduling and getting your plans appointments so that we can get your plans together. And even if you live in another state other than Georgia, I can still help you. We're going to talk about that as well. And if you have property that's located in other states other than Georgia, I can still help you. But again, my name is Attorney Sharon Baker. I am a legal life coach, a speaker and author, and an attorney. And I'm here to help you get your stuff in order. Thank you.
So let's shout out Miss Sharon Baker Boykin helping us get our stuff in order. Y'all, let me tell you something. If it is one thing that I've come to learn and understand is that even though we don't love to talk about it, unfortunately, we're not going to be here forever in this world. And I mean, honestly, it depends on what you believe, fortunately, right? Hello? Because some of us, we do believe in something bigger and better. I'm not going to say everybody because I want to put it on there. But I mean, I believe that after we leave this world, it's going to be so much more bigger and better. Amen. But it's all of what we do here. But most importantly, guys, regardless of whatever your religious beliefs are, when you are gone, when it is all said and done, and unfortunately, none of us can escape it, y'all, we got to make sure that we get our stuff in order. I am so grateful. And it used to be a time where I was very ashamed to say this, but if it was not for my father making sure that he took care of his daughter legally, I do not know where I would be today. I do not know where I would be today. And so make sure moms, fathers, brothers, sisters, friends, aunties, uncles, all of that. Guys, we've got to make sure that we are positioning ourselves and the ones that we love to be in a better space. We always say, or I've heard people say, I want to make sure that those that follow me leave off better than where I started. And this is one of those ways to do it. So make sure that you get with my girl, Sharon Baker Boykin. Y'all, what did y'all love? Drop something in the chat right now. Let me know something that you loved from Sharon's chat. And also shout out to our winners. We had 3 more names that were selected. Now everybody sent their email. That means everybody won't hear it. I'm telling you, y'all, process of elimination. But guess what? On January the 31st, we are going to be selecting 2 additional names. So even if your name did not get picked yesterday, guess what? You still got time. And every single day, today, tomorrow, the next day, you still have an opportunity to get your name added more. So make sure if you are not registered, y'all, let me just go ahead and make sure. In case you ain't registered, you watching this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or any of the platforms, go to newyearnewyouconference.com. newyearnewyouconference.com. Okay, y'all. So listen, also, I want to just make sure everybody knows that we do have our Ghana information that we're going to be doing, but don't forget cruise. Okay. If you are an author, someone who's an author, cruiseforauthors.com so that you can find out the details on this. And then you want to also go to the vocevent.com where you can check out the details on how you can join us in Ghana for this year. Okay. But make sure, guys, outside of all of that, continue to stay plugged in, continue to go and watch all the replays. Okay. Watch the replays, plug in. Y'all, my name is Taria Vision Avant. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Deuces. Bye, y'all.